Hi, I'm Scav, and I'm an architecture critic. Welcome to the Extra Office, a channel where I do architecture critiques of video games. If you want to join me live, please find my Twitch below. And to support my endeavors, please find me on Patreon, which is also linked below. Let's get started. They went absolutely crazy with Zora Domain. So we're going to check that out next. An empty bracelet, many layers. This is actually your path, right? You actually walk on that, which is just wild. I think it's a little tough to build a city on the premise of air, right? So the Rito village is kind of built on the premise of air itself as the element, and it's a little harder to sort of physically establish. Yeah, look at this. Physically establish what air would be in a city, but water is a very particular element that we can express in a lot of ways. Water is, of course, moving. It's liquid. It's ever changing. It's fills the vessel, right? Be water, friend. That was terrible. I should never do that again. But right, water tells a little bit of a different tale. It's easier to acknowledge the physical ramifications, maybe, of water. So this is a very expressive architecture. It's very classical in a lot of ways. It feels more like I'm in a giant candelabra that hangs in a palace than that I'm in a city, because of its kind of suspended sense. But it's very structurally like adequate. I don't know what this material is, which we won't even begin to question. I mean, it must be some kind of metal, right? But what gives it the blue kind of glowy color? What happens if it's lightning out? Well, in any case, what I do love, both Rito and Gerudo have water as an organizing element. Gerudo for different reasons, and we'll get into that. But instead of the city needing to use water for any particular climactic reason, it really just, this city celebrates water by letting it flow and letting it move all around. That's what this is doing, right? It's a celebration of water. These paths aren't straight, right? They're sort of bending around and curving and taking you on a jaunt. Now, as to whether or not these are meant to be kind of public access circulation, they are. This is all part of the plan. But these don't really, like, if you look at it, these don't really connect you with anything at all. Kind of just these strolls, and then the actual hard surfaces are in there. But the water comes in, and of course the main element here is the central shrine down below, which is below the throne room. That's where all the water flows and is gathered in this environment. It's all very calm water. What I dig about this water path is totally unnecessary, right? This is just like totally unnecessary. There's no game, there's no there's nothing about the city that needs these. There's no game mechanic, but to me, they add such a wonderful flavoring to the environment and to the space, and of course to the architecture of the game, because um, this is the ground below your feet, and these spaces are, just sort of public access. This is like a park, right? Demarcated by these little roundabouts where you can maybe sit down and have a drink or talk to somebody. These aren't really a bench. I think it would be cooler. I think it would be cooler if this thing was a bench. I imagine it is. It feels like it's one, but looking at it, it looks like it could be a bench. People would try to use this as a bench. I can guarantee you that. I feel like this is one of those things where people would totally want to sit and enjoy the view, have a discussion. Now, you can't really have a view across the way, right? Because there's this column right in the middle, this like blue thing. Can I climb this? I get that they're there, but the blue crystals are there, but this thing is like, I don't know. It's like alien. It's like alien tongue having a mouth. It's like it's too tall. There's too many spikes and too many like extra things. It's too flamboyant. But to me, it's kind of good that these don't have a purpose. I think their purpose is to express the relationship that the city has with water, and in that case, I'd love to see no gathering spaces, or if there were gathering spaces along these, the gathering spaces could be variable and kind of just present different opportunities for different types of gathering and not be so formal. Like, here we have a gathering zone, or here, there's a gathering zone. Like, these could all be gathering zones. I could sit here. So something like that would be kind of cool, rather than this actually formalized kind of relationship between, this. In other words, the social spaces that are organized along those do not flow. It's a flowy line, but the social spaces are very much kind of node based and dominant. So something more flowy to that would have been super cool. So the interiors are kind of crystalline walls, very, very churchy. The pointed arch is a particularly interesting aspect of this architecture, because I believe the preferred weapon of the Zora is the spear. So there's something about a kind of spearhead to the pointed arch that I find beautifully linked. Ooh, I love this moon. I love that. I love the moon column. Yes. There's something really beautiful. Oh, they're pointed out only. There's something really beautiful about when columns, that architecture likes to play a game. Like, not all columns you see in every building are really structurally necessary. So when they're not, which this one doesn't seem like they're super necessary. I mean, they're holding up this thing, but I mean, look at the size of these columns next to it. I mean, look at how many columns there are in general. You could probably get away with something like this. So putting what you'd anticipate needing, when you'd anticipate needing some structure to kind of continue down, it gets interrupted. I think that's fantastic. Oh, oh dear. Are these the beds? I mean, there's privacy issues in this whole game as far as the way the beds are often organized, but I do dig. I mean, the view is incredible. They're aligned with the windows really nicely. You'd wake up to these. I mean, hell yeah. But God, That looks like ice. That looks like ice. They could have at least rendered some blankets or something. No. No. Waterbed. Supposedly it's a waterbed. Ah! So here's another example of this thing. I guess it's a book. I guess it's like, oh, okay. These are stone tablets. They're tablets. Okay. Wow. This is ridiculous. What is this? Oh, hello. There's baths? Nice. There's baths. Public baths. Oh, this looks great. So let's talk about this room. It's a tripartite. Oh, this is cool. A tripartite public bath. With a kind of central staircase. There's no people are gonna slip on that and hit their head on that. Whatever. You know, I'm surprised there isn't more of an environmental effect here. Like, is it steaming? Giant fish tower, just like my thesis. Yeah. I'm surprised there isn't like some steam rising. I think it'd be nice. There's steam all over this game. But I do love the room is basically like a carousel. Round, open on all sides, a kind of a main column in the center. Everything's revolving. I like this room. It's simple. It's well laid out. I like the inclusion of a public bath. See, like, this is the thing that I guess if you're technical about it, the Rito village has this has the flight range as a kind of an extension. Like, this is the city, but this is the place where the kind of there's a bodily kind of an expression of the sort of bodily function of the bodies of the inhabitants, or of an expression of the abilities of the bodies of the inhabitants. And I feel like this is a pretty good one here. To have a bath is a kind of neat. That's nice. The hierarchical nature of these towns goes from most to least. Zora, I would say Zora, Gerudo, Rito, and then Goron. Goron to me has a kind of anti-hierarchical, even though its leader is still this like humongous different body. I can't get over that, but like, look at this. Come on. Here's a fin shaped, right? That's a fin. Come on. Ugh. Look at the size of this thing. I don't know. This room is like this room is built. Ooh, I like the seating. Is this supposed to be kind of like seating? That's kind of interesting. But like, look at this. Look at this. This room is built to intimidate. A lot of, throne rooms are designed to do just that. If you look at Game of Thrones or medieval castles or any sort of architecture that expresses, delineates hierarchies and or power structures, they attempt to express in their very nature an intimidation about the location of the voice or person or body who's hierarchically separated from other bodies. And I mean, look at this array of seating and this kind of grand throne. I mean, what a room. There's like a little path around the outside. It's very nice. There's a buttress over here. Big columns. Just ridiculous. This place is just off the charts. There's columns everywhere. Most of the columns are straight up and down though, which is kind of lame. So you can see how the architecture also expresses the society and the way that it might behave. Oh, what What is this? All right, that took too long. Oh, see that? This piece of trim just gets like bumped into. Just stop that right there. Just pause it right, just shy of the trim, just short of the trim, please. Next time. Maybe they didn't spend so much time on this kind of like outer bridge, because also, first of all, this is way short. This is also like a little suspect. Like, why isn't this just a flat ground? Why does it have the... Yeah, this is weird. This is the outer... Yeah, this like outer ring. Oh. And I don't understand this little... I mean, it's fine. I mean, I don't hate that. It just I haven't seen that detail reflected, right? The things that bother me as a critic are... Like, I'm less, like, I don't mind little moments that break rules, and I'm not one to ask you to follow any sort of rules. It's just like, there's methods of refining ideas and refining space and refining architecture that suggest that, like, things can talk to one another a little bit. Your design for one area could reflect itself in other areas and create kind of like, Easter eggs in a way. Architecture should be about... I guess I'll take that. Architecture should be about Easter eggs, and when there's no cohesive whole, the Easter eggs don't register as much. Like it would be funny if there was a certain detail that's reflected just a little bit differently everywhere else, and but some of these details kind of come out of nowhere. So they're like, what's the narrative here? What's keeping it all together, and when is it interrupted and why? Let's kind of check out this big fish space. Am I too far away? Nah, I'll make it. Ooh, will I make it? Ah! Whoops. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. Wow, what a piece of architecture. I love the scale, the scales of the fish here. I mean, this is just insane. They spent more time kind of creating this fish than that outer wall. Well, I think that just about does it for our tour of Zora. Thanks for listening. Of course, please like, share, and subscribe to get more videos like this. Comment down below what game you think I should do next. Come find me on Patreon to support my work, and see me live on Twitch to join in the fun. See you next time.